Hey everybody, welcome back to another Thingamajigger Thursday here at Tucson Acres, where I go over a unique or uncommon tool once a week. In today's episode, we're going to first do the giveaway for this week, then we're going to look at this week's tool, and then we're going to take a quick look at next week's sneak peek tool. Let's jump right into it. All right, so this week's giveaway is this L31 electric marking pencil. Really cool. I don't have the electric lead that goes to it, and it's supposed to be for a 6-volt system. So if you end up winning it and I end up sending it to you, you will have to get a lead, a small electric lead, and attach it to a 6-volt battery of some sort. When I tested it, that's how I did it. I don't have that part. We had 7 contestants this week, or 7 entries. T.S.H. Vaughn, Idiocracy, Dave Lorg, Market Blazing, Brian Lee, Frank Bow, and Rob Bacon. So I'm going to toss these in the bucket here, and I'm tired of trying to dump out one at a time, so I'm just going to go ahead and reach in there and grab one. You're just going to have to trust me that I'm not cheating or favoring anybody. I'll look away. Number 7, Rob Bacon. All right, congratulations, Rob Bacon. Go ahead and shoot me an email, twosawacres@gmail.com. That's twosawacres@gmail.com. I'll go ahead and reply to one of your comments of last week's video with that email, just so it's straight up. Once you send me that email, I'll go ahead and put a confirmation code in there. You can then take that confirmation code and put it back on YouTube. That way it's 2 separate accounts. That way I know it's you. Once all that's done, I'll go ahead and ship it out to you free of charge. Congratulations. Also, don't forget everybody, it's a 2-week time limit. I can't sit on these forever. So the winner of this Rim Dent Polar, it's already been over 2 weeks, but I'm not in a huge rush. I still got other things I can give away in between. And I haven't heard back from the winner of last week's giveaway with this blow-off valve. Was a vulcanizing pop blow-off valve wrench from Buffalo Dental Manufacturing. So make sure you guys get in touch with me so you can get these things. It's free of charge to you. All right, I had the center part covered up last week. But yeah, these are Bernard pliers. We had a couple correct guesses and a couple close guesses. They are used for all sorts of things, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But if you haven't seen him, and I hate to, take the very few people I got and turn them onto another channel, but Mr. Pete or Tubal Cain, he has a great channel on tools. I get some of my inspiration from him. I've actually asked him to check this one out for me, and he never got back to me, but I know he's busy. He's got a lot of followers. But anyway, he has a couple fantastic videos on Bernard pliers. He's a really, really big fan of them. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but Bernard pliers, that's just a general term, kind of like the crescent wrench. The more specific term is parallel jaw pliers. As you open them, the jaws stay perfectly parallel. Now there's really good reason for that. If you want to grab anything flat, when you use regular pliers, which let's just use these right here just because they're here. When you grab onto something, you have all this open space. The further down you bite on it, the worse it is. Right? Just one little spot. So if you're trying to grab a nut or a bolt or really anything. Whereas parallel jaw pliers, they can literally grab the entire surface. So if you want to bite down on a nut, let's say that's the side of a nut there. But yeah, you get a much, much better grip. And on top of that, these have a mechanical advantage of 4-to-1, I believe is what I read. So they have a really strong bite force. Just went and grabbed a nut and bolt set here. Hopefully, no, these don't even open far enough. Oh yeah, they do. So yeah, you get a really solid grip on flat sides. So that's one huge advantage of using pliers like this. Now the cutters on these things, because of that mechanical advantage, work really, really well. Like it takes almost nothing. Now this is fairly small stuff. It's like 17 gauge fencing wire, but it just barely even feel it. So the uses for these guys, I did a bunch of digging, and the most common use that I found for these, and actually a misconception, is fishing pliers. They weren't designed to be fishing pliers, but they do work really well as fishing pliers because you can grab your hooks, and when you grab that hook, you get the whole hook in there, and it can bite down evenly on the entire hook. And then you have cutters right there, handy, ready to go to cut your line or, you know, removing hooks. But the majority of uses for these pliers are anything that has to do with wire specifically. So if it's, you know, musicians, you know, guitars, whatever, or making jewelry or dental work, you know, orthodontics, where, you know, braces and you're straightening and flattening and bending wire to do that. Those are the main uses, and electricians as well. Those are the most common uses for these pliers. There's a groove in here on one side of the jaws. They both have serrations inside the jaws, or knurling, I guess you could call it. But this side has a groove all the way through it, and that is for holding wire. So you can put wire in there, and on top of that, the wire can go all the way through. Straighten, 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 something like that, just kind of keeping it right there, and the wire can just keep going right through the handle. So yeah, works pretty good for that. But just grabbing onto it, putting nice clean 90-degree bends in wire. Now granted, a regular pair of pliers can do that too, but I really like those side cuts. I'm going to be using, this is honestly my first time using these. They've been sitting in this bin, my weird tool bin, for months now. And to show the main difference between fishing pliers and Bernard pliers, these are no BS fishing pliers. I did not just go out and buy these. These are ridiculously expensive. I got them in a lot of stuff for fly fishing. These are Able No. 4 fishing pliers. They've got a little side cut in them for cutting your line. They're kind of spring loaded, very weak, but they're super smooth, smooth operating. Tethered, obviously, you don't want to drop these. On eBay right now, this exact pair is used, $250, new with a knife. They can come with a sheath and a matching knife. They're just like $400 to $600. They're crazy, and I don't even really fish. I don't even like fishing, to tell you the truth, but I got a fly rod and, you know, more of a just in case thing, or as I run out of things to do, which isn't happening anytime soon. So I'm hanging on to these, but that's the difference. But you can see why people would opt for something like this, and you can get these on eBay, almost this exact pair, for 20 bucks-ish, 15 to 25 plus maybe 5 to 10 in shipping. So you can get a really nice pair of these Bernards fairly cheap compared to something like that. Now, these are heavier, a little more cumbersome. They don't really have a needle nose on them in comparison, but they're still fantastic for that purpose. A real quick history of these Bernard pliers. William Bernard invented them, invented the patent, late 1800s, early 1900s. I think the patent was issued in 1807. Then Skolhorn bought that patent and manufactured it, and then Sargent bought them out. And this is into the early 20th century, you know, the mid 1900s. And then Rostra bought them out in like the 80s, 1980s. And then another brand or name that I'm not even familiar with, Oetiker, Oetiker, bought them out, and they're the ones that are apparently still making these. So if you wanted to get a brand new pair, you still can. So thanks everybody for the guesses on these. Nice job. I really like these. These are definitely going into my everyday toolbox. And that's it. Bernard pliers. All right, so here's next week's sneak peek tool. Nothing too crazy. If you got any guesses on what this is or what it's used for, go ahead and throw it in the comment section, and this will be next week's free tool giveaway. So if you want to be entered into the drawing to win these for free, go ahead and put a thumbs up emoji in the comment section, or spell out the number 1 in the comment section, O-N-E, and we'll hold the drawing for these next week. All right, well, that wraps up Thingamajigger Thursday for this week. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing. I hope everybody has a safe and fun weekend, and we'll catch you next Thursday.